Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Amon Green, Green Bay Packers all-time leader in rushing, and you're watching Packers Total Access Live, your daily source for Packer content. Go Pack, go!
What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Joined alongside Emilio in Tennessee. Here to talk Packers. Hopefully, we'll get the Packers Giants tonight. Want to dive into the injury report and hit on some of the preview there. Before we get into that, we're going to discuss a multitude of topics. We got Carrington Valentine. Is he a top 10 corner? Is he a top 10 corner? I'm going to give you guys a spoiler alert. I don't think he's a top 10 corner, but I think he's damn good and overperforming. There's no doubt about that. Rich Eisen also has a message for Packer fans. I want to get everybody's take on that in the chat. We'll give you some updated Jordan Love numbers, really making a case for him being a top 10 QB, even though he just had that less than stellar performance, which we broke down pretty extensively on Chalk Talk as well. And then we'll get into the Packers-Giants injury report, Packers-Giants preview if we have time. Before we get into all that, if you guys would, do that YouTube stuff for us. Hit like, hit subscribe. If this is your first time tuning into PTA, welcome. Thank you for making us part of your evening. We're not experts. We're not insiders. We're not media members. We're fans just like you talking Packers on the daily. So if you're looking for that type of content, make sure you click subscribe and hit that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. Emilio, how you doing, big dog?
Hey, had a great Friday. 70 degrees again, just living it up. Leaves. Wind wasn't too bad, so I was able to get them done right. I got the lights on the house, Clay, for Christmas, so we're good. Dude.
Same thing, man. We were dragging Christmas decorations out. We got the back side of the house pretty much done.
Yep.
I got to get out and chop some wood in a sleeveless shirt. I was like, dang, it feels like May out here.
Mandy's out there with the goggles, taking a quick little peek at her man. Yeah.
Mandy's over there going, hurry up. I know you're wasting time with that wood. You need to be over here helping me hang Christmas lights. So, no, it was a good day, though, man. It was just a nice, comfortable day. And I think it was good to get some air in the lungs, too, with the sickness and all that, get out there in the fresh air a bit. So,
absolutely.
We had some wood chips flying. It was a lot of fun. I see the chat's already filling in. Hopefully everybody's having an awesome Friday evening. We got a little bit of college football about to kick off too. I think Louisville's about to kick off, and they're a top 25 team. So we'll see if they continue to try to climb.
Running back is nice.
They got a good one?
Yeah, right? It's Isaac Brown, I'm pretty sure. He is fast. He's nice.
Got it. We'll keep an eye on that tonight for sure. We got a super chat here right off the bat. Let's hit it. Larry with the super chat just caught the Coon news from earlier. You handled that like a pro, and he comes off looking straight up. He's acting weird lately on socials. Listen, I appreciate the support, Larry, and thank you for the super chat. Really do. I'm not here to try to roast Coon or anything like that. Obviously, we've been chatting back and forth on Twitter. It's totally cool. It was a weird situation, no doubt. I appreciate the support. I do. I've got a bunch of direct messages like this today. It was just kind of a weird, a weird scenario, I guess you could say. So, but thank you so much for the support. If you guys are going, what the hell are you talking about? I did a video earlier today because it was going to be easier to do it that way than try to explain everything. So you guys can go watch the video. We shared all the socials, all that stuff. So you'll get up to date on exactly what happened. But I truly do, Larry, and everybody else. I appreciate the support there. And that whole thing. So kind of is what it is. But Let's dive into Carrington Valentine here a little bit. Emilio Carrington obviously took over for Nate Hobbs. It looks like Nate Hobbs is going to be out this week. We'll cover that entire injury report on the backside of the show. Carrington Valentine, though, man, playing some damn good football at the moment, dude. I'm really excited about this, dude. Let's start with the PFF grade, and this is what grabbed my attention. I seen a couple of people tweet this out over on X. And they had Carrington as a top 10 corner, right? Well, when I went to PFF, you remove the noise, the minimum snaps, all that good stuff. This is basically anyone who's played 100 or more targets at the cornerback position, right? Carrington Valentine's currently grading out as the 11th best cornerback in the National Football League. Starting at the top, number 1, Jamil Dean, James Pierre, Charvarius Ward. Charvarius Ward, was he a free agent this year, Emilio? Didn't we talk about him in free agency? I'm thinking we did.
I want to say we did too.
That would have been nice to go out and sign him instead of Hobbs, right?
Hey,
hindsight's 2020, but
always 2020. Yeah, there's nothing you can do about that. You got to go out and you got to pull the trigger, and the market wasn't very deep and moved on from Ja. That was the right decision, if you're looking at it that way. But there's a hit or a miss when you pull the trigger on free agency.
Yeah. So Devin Witherspoon, number 4, Trent McDuffie, 5, Will Johnson and Rasul Douglas tied for number 6. That's kind of surprising with Rasul Douglas. He kind of slumped the last couple of years. Now he's back to playing really good football. Jalen Watson, 8, Cooper DeJean, 9, Benjamin St. Just, 9th, and then you've got Carrington Valentine in the 11th spot. Obviously, you got a couple of different guys there that are tied for the same ranking. So again, Carrington Valentine, overall defensive grade 74.5, coverage grade 77.9. Our boys playing some pretty good lockdown coverage, to be honest with you, Emilio. And you guys know I like to cross-check these grades with other statistics that I think are important. That way we're not just putting all our eggs in the PFF basket, so to speak. How do you feel about where he's ranked there, Emilio? Because I got to be real, it seems like it's a little high, but I definitely see him as a top 32 corner in the league personally.
Right. Yeah, and I even went a step further, pulled it up 50% minimum of 660 snaps, so not just minimum of 100. Carrington climbs up to 7 there. Mm-hmm. So he's top 10 corner. It kind of seems like he's playing that way. Obviously, he didn't get some of those opportunities when Nate Hobbs was out there, but he's making the most of them. He's shown that he deserves that playing time, and until he doesn't deserve it, or until he messes up, or you've never heard people complaining about Carrington. You've always heard them complaining that he's not out there. And I think he keeps that up. He keeps that kind of focus and that attitude. That's something that we kind of missed when Ja went out. I think it's nice to have that. You have it when Key, but having it on both sides and a safety that can kind of be all over the field with X, the defense will just kind of gel. I think it's all kind of, it was kind of all morphing a little bit at the beginning of the season, and that shape's kind of tightening up as we close in on the end of the season. And like Bill Belichick always said, right, Clay, it's the football doesn't start till after Thanksgiving.
Right.
We're closing in. That's when we have 5 divisional games. It's going to be a busy time. We need to turn it on. I think right here is the time to get going.
Yeah. Chris Casual says CV is a set it and forget it cornerback. Just let him work. I agree, man. Seeing him on A.J. Brown the other night was really, really impressive. You guys know A.J. Brown on he was playing some kind of game online, and the guy who was playing
Madden, Clay. Come on now.
Okay. I didn't know exactly what game it was, Amelia. I apologize. But how did that interaction happen, Amelia? They asked him how the season's going, how's the group doing, and he said, "Yeah, you might want to sit me in fantasy." Is that what he said?
I think that's how how's it going? How are you doing? And he goes, "Well, if any of y'all have me on fantasy, you might as well drop me now, or you'd be better off dropping me because he's not going to be getting that many points." And you could kind of just tell the way he handled that deep ball on that 4th down.
Yeah, right.
He just wanted to get to the sideline and read his book. I get that.
Reading's a good habit to have, man. It's a good habit to have. So it was just cool seeing CV work on him most of the day, right? And it wasn't as if CV was following him, but you could tell the matchup they wanted Devonta on the right, they wanted AJ on the left. It seemed like that. Again, I didn't focus too much in the all-22 on exactly where they were lining up all the time, but I think Carrington Valentine's playing some good football, man, for sure. Yeah. So let's cross-check that. Again, 11th in PFF grade. However, when you remove how much noise, Emilio, did he jump to 7th, did you say?
When I did 50% of minimum of 660 snaps, he was sitting at 7th.
Got it. All right, so now let's cross-check passer rating when targeted. It is sorted by that. It's going to be off the screen where you guys can't see it, but you can see it's sorted at that. Carrington Valentine, 100.3 passer rating when targeted. That statistic, and again, qualified defenders only, so it's their version of remove the noise, right? He's rating in the 118th spot in passer rating when targeted. Now, I cross-checked that with PFF's passer rating when targeted, and I think he was somewhere at 101 in terms of the grade, so it would be slightly worse. It doesn't mean that he would be grading higher. Now, many people are talking about how Eric Stokes is having a good year out there in Vegas. You see him below Carrington in the 120 spot in terms of passer rating when targeted as well. So you take the PFF grade and say, okay, top 10. You take the passer rating when targeted, it says 118th. Maybe somewhere in the middle. What do you think about passer rating when targeted? How do you feel about that statistic? Do you feel like you would rather trust the PFF grade, passer rating when targeted? Because for me, I would kind of take them both, right? I would take the overall defensive grade. I'd take the coverage grade. I'd take the passer rating when targeted. Those are the 3 things I would be most focused on. And, of course, watching the tape yourself, right?
Mm-hmm. And I think if you take both of those things in consideration, you would consider Carrington a starting corner, right? He would be top 64. That's all you're asking for. You got to have 2 on the field, basically, and he's a dog. I like how he's able to play up physically and play down physically depending on the size of the opponent he's going against. And he has those breaks. He's got, I mean, just you're a quarterback. You throw that speed out over there. I think it was to Devonta or maybe it was AJ, and he goes out there and this close to taking that pick to the house.
Yeah.
You think twice about it. That's something that slows you down. If you have that kind of all around, in the shell of the defense, we're in business. We got something that they're scared of. We keep the run game going. We're going to be in good shape. I think Hafley's going to lead these guys the right way. I'm not worried about it. And I really do think Carrington's tearing it up.
Yeah. United Bates says, Showtime, rotisserie, set it and forget it. Let's go. Yeah, and again, I personally don't see Carrington Valentine as a top 10 corner. I think you hit the nail on the head there, Emilio. I think that he's probably a starting caliber corner. What I mean is if you take the top 32 corners in the league, he's definitely in that top 32. He may be top 30, top 25, but I feel like top 10 is a little too rich for me. However, what else can you ask from a 7th round pick? That's the thing that gets me excited, man. Carrington's a lot of fun to watch. He's sticky in coverage. He plays aggressive. He's one of these guys. He's not afraid to tackle. Doesn't mean he's the best tackler, but he'll stick his nose in there. He's not scared to tackle. I don't know. It seems like he's long too. He's rangy, if that makes sense, right? Like sometimes you see, like Jair was kind of a compact corner, but in his prime, didn't matter. Didn't make a hill of beans. He was dominant in his prime. But with Carrington, it seems like longer arms, and that's where arm length comes in. Maybe a little more stride length than your normal corner. It's that's just stuff like that is very, very interesting.
Carrington has a crazy wingspan. I think that definitely shows, and he's just like you said, top 32. I love that. He's 100% top 64. I don't think there's anything you can, deny about that. He's been playing that way, and I love that we have that. And then you even go to Keyshawn. Key's not playing bad either, right? It's not perfect, but he's dog. He's tied or leading in deflections right now. Yep. So you're also kind of worried about passing towards him as well.
Yep, and he is 111th in passer rating when targeted here. I don't know what his PFF grade is. I already closed that window out.
Let's see.
Find that. I don't know where he's at.
Keyshawn's PFF is 63.9.
So he's significantly lower than.
Out of the 50% of 660 where Carrington was 7th, that would put Keyshawn 27th.
Hey, check this out. Javon Bullard, obviously grading out in the 60s, right? He's 89 in passer rating when targeted, so not significantly, but a little bit higher than both Keyshawn and Carrington in passer rating. And that's huge because we feel good about his run defense, right? The fact that his coverage seems to be coming along. I think next year is going to be one of those years where he just kind of bang, this dude is as competent as anybody.
Dude, and Hafley knows what he's got in him. He knows that he's got to be out on the field. I feel like he feels that way with Evan as well, but knowing that you can rotate him and still put him up to safety when you need him because he's that smart of a player. He's not being asked to do it, mid-game, switch back and forth. He's able to rely on what he's learned previously from starting at those positions, bring that in per game, and it's helped out a lot, I think. That star position, that slot, whatever you want to call it, nickel, he's really kind of tightened up that defense there, and we're not so crazy everywhere. I think they got really good communication between him, Coop, and Quay as well.
Yeah. Drew in the chat said, is Corey showing up today? Corey's always here.
Receiver by 10 yards.
Corey is always going to be with us, Drew. So obviously Drew's been listening to Packernet After Dark, which is just hilarious. Catching wind, our boy Corey over there. My God, it was like listening to razor blades. But hey, you find out when you hear someone call into the call-in show and it sounds like they've been raking you over the coals for a few weeks and you didn't know it, it's like, all right, let's go ahead and fire back. I think Ryan enjoyed it too. So shot Ryan a message earlier and said, hey, man, we didn't go in too hard, did we? Haven't heard back, so it might be a bad thing.
Oh, boy.
But we'll see. Clayton might be out of a job here in a couple of days.
There we go.
Yeah. A-Fan bringing in the hard-hitting information. Going to Chili's tonight. There you go. Appreciate that.
Get the triple dipper or whatever it is. Oh, with the mott sticks and come on now.
Unbelievable. All right, so you guys watching this video back later, let us know in the comments, what do you think about Carrington Valentine? Do you think he's a true top 10 corner? Do you think he's top 32? Maybe you think he's more in that 100-plus range. Maybe you're not as impressed. Let us know in the comments. Let us know maybe a player in the draft you're looking at here in college football this year that you might be interested in trying to add to the roster in the offseason. Make sure you hit subscribe, click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. Emilio, what's been your take here lately? Let's shift gears into just kind of general Packers talk and the state of this team. We're on here every day, right? J. Cole. Who the hell's Corey? Don't worry about it, Jay. It's all good. So we're on here talking pretty much daily, right?
Yep.
And we're constantly talking about, most of the time we're reacting to other fans, which that's what I wanted this show to be, is kind of give a voice and react and whatever, to how the general fan base feels. That's why I love the poll questions, because forget how I feel, forget how you feel, Tim, Jacob, the whole crew. Let's kind of dive in and see, okay, what does the general populace feel about it? How do you feel about the team right now? Because I'm going to play a clip from Rich Eisen, who obviously is a Jets fan, looking from the outside looking in. Rich Eisen's covered the NFL for a very, very, very long time, right? How do you feel about this Packers team? Maybe if you had to rank them, where would you put them? 1 to 32, what range do you see them in? I'm going to get this video queued up so we can hear what Rich Eisen has to say.
Yeah, some mistakes. We're beating ourselves. We're losing more games. We're forcing ourselves to lose these games because of how we're playing type stuff. I would say we're, anywhere between probably 7 to 12, something like that. I would say we're probably 9 or 10-ish would be my guess. The team, they're a solid team. We know we have talent. It just hasn't completely come together. We're missing on basic stuff. Day one stuff we're messing up on. All that stuff needs to be repped out. That we just need a really good, clean execution and practice kind of week and game coming up here, just to know that we can do it. That way you can say, all right, we are able to do this. This is what it needs to be moving forward. And let's not deviate from that. We can't let ourselves drop our quality.
Yeah, definitely. And, I did a show earlier on Matt LaFleur because there's rumors coming out of Atlanta that there's a guy on 680 Sports in Atlanta. He's got like 70,000 followers, pretty good following, right? Obviously does a daily sports talk show. And he's hearing through the grapevine that the Falcons are very, very interested in Matt LaFleur if the Packers do indeed want to move on from him, right? So you've got other fan bases that are now kind of climbing into the conversation. Boy, as soon as I did that video, the comments have been overwhelmingly, this fan base has lost their damn mind if they want to move on from Matt LaFleur. I don't think I've seen, maybe for every 10 comments or every 10 whatever interactions on social media, it's been one that's like, yeah, we need to get rid of him. And it's kind of like the rubber's meeting the road now. People are waking up a little bit going, okay, yeah, maybe we need to think this through. Is obviously you're ranked currently, your record, and you're only as good as your record. Obviously, that's a Bill Parcells quote. Mm-hmm. You're ranked 12th in the league right now, 7th in the NFC, and of course, Matt LaFleur is 14th all-time in all-time NFL winning percentage, right? So that's kind of where we're sitting right now. Let's see what Rich Eisen had to say to Packer fans, and this is from the Rich Eisen Show, and it's over on X, obviously, is where the video came from. Let's throw a little run. Actually, let's just throw a little Stephen A. Smith up here. I like the old comment there. So here we go. Here's Rich Eisen on the Rich Eisen Show, about 56 seconds long, him talking to Packer fans, essentially.
No bueno. But they're 5-3-1. Everybody just chill out. 5-3-1.
That's not the world in which we live.
But guess what? We're still marathoning. We're marathoning. Okay. And I've seen what this team can do when they're 5-1-1 as well. And the good news is the defense is balling out. And all Jordan Love's got to do is just see the field a little bit better, because some of this is on him. You see, remember that point where Christian Watson was open over the middle and they cut to LaFleur watching it back on the tablet, and he's just like, oh, this is after, Aikman's like he was open. And I know that for a fact because Cooper really needed Christian Watson to catch passes to get off the guillotine last night. But the fact that supposedly LaFleur's in the guillotine, I think is nuts. It's crazy.
One playoff win in the last 4 seasons.
I understand that, man. But
well, then what are we doing?
Because you could see the same thing about most everybody in the National Football League as well. And this team can score points, and I think will again. No bueno.
Amen. So I obviously agree with what Rich Eisen had to say there, Emilio. And if the argument is, okay, well, he hasn't won a Super Bowl, who are you bringing in that has won a Super Bowl? Right. That's immediately where my focus goes to. And as we were kind of talking about this in the chat was on fire earlier today when I did that show on Matt LaFleur. Right. And as we were having this conversation, people were saying people who want to fire him, they don't have an answer on who to bring in. I've heard answers on who to bring in. This seems to be the consensus. You promote Jeff Hafley to head coach and you bring in a new offensive coordinator. Okay. So what offensive coordinator are you bringing in? And not in our chat, but typically what's been happening is people have been rattling off offensive coordinators for other teams. It's not how it works. You can't bring them in and hire them in a lateral move, right? So you got to go into their offense and get an assistant. quarterbacks coach, passing game coordinator, something like that, right? Because again, they can block lateral moves, meaning you can't go and sign their offensive coordinator unless they approve it, right? To be your offensive coordinator. So now what you're looking at is if you do approach it that way, and Jeff Hafley's promoted to head coach, and then you go and get an offensive coordinator who has the people that are in those positions have failed at offensive coordinator before, or they have never been given the opportunity to be an offensive coordinator. Obviously, everybody had to come up through the coaching ranks. So at some point, the great offensive coordinators, the great head coaches were in the same position. It's a matter of finding the right one. But this idea that you could go get one and now all of a sudden he's going to be better than Matt LaFleur, that's just a tough sell for me right now. Here's the other thing too. Let's say Matt LaFleur finishes the season out. Jeff Hafley gets offered another head coaching job somewhere else. You fire Matt LaFleur, and now Jeff Hafley gets to choose, say, between the Giants and the Packers. He takes that. Now your whole coaching staff is scrapped, and you're starting from square one. I think these are the things that some fans maybe don't think about. So I want to get your take on that. How do you feel about that whole situation there?
Yeah, no, I think that's a perfect point. What happens if Hafley does go to New York? What happens if anybody else calls about Matt? Why are we not giving Matt a chance to finish out the season? We're winning. McDonald's still there in Miami, and I was the one that said, if he probably goes 2-10, or if he gets up to 10 losses, I would think that he probably gets moved or something. But I think that you need to have at least a little bit of faith in Matt for what he's done. Thinking about it like this, if you're in the NFC, right, you only have one chance in your division or in the first playoff game. You got one chance in the second, and then if you get to playoffs, like there's only a possibility of like 6 wins in total. And Matt's 1 in 4 years. Okay, fine, but like he said, the entire league has that same exact thing. I wouldn't want to move on from Matt. I still don't want to move on from him. I think you need to let him. How well does he coach in December and January is a key thing that you need to pay attention to. And you can't be judging him on how he's coached in December and January in November when it hasn't happened right now. So I think that you just need to leave it be, let the dude do his thing. And what else can he do? It's not like he can sit there and dwell on it like, oh, I'm about to get shipped out of here. No, it's like, I got to worry about the Giants. I got to scheme up something to take on this defense. They got 4 real good pass rushers up front, all first-round picks. We got to be ready for that. There's so on Matt's plate, he is trying to fry a bigger fish on this right side rather than worried about all of the stuff on the left side. That's winter work for Matt. We need to worry about that later on in the season.
Yeah. M. Smitty in the chat. Let's go to the chat, see what everybody's saying about this. Matt LaFleur has his faults and has not gotten to the big dance. However, he is well respected for his play calling. A little bad stretch is not worth dropping. As BA, we played a Bruce Arians audio earlier today on the show, and that's what he was saying. Is like, Matt LaFleur is one of the great play callers in the league. Boy, don't tell Packer fans that right now, because they have convinced themselves, a portion of them have convinced themselves he's absolutely horrible, right? Drew D in the chat says, for most of the years, the defense was the problem. It's so true, right? Then you finally get the defense fixed, and now the offense is struggling. But again, I point out the offense struggling because, you're without your best receiver, your number one receiver in Jaden Reed, right? You just got Christian Watson back, which I know people look at Christian Watson as the number one receiver. If there's a number one receiver on this team, it's Jaden Reed, right? He's the guy who's been the leading receiver the last 2 years when he's healthy. Then you got your new leading target in Tucker Kraft. He goes down with the ACL. You lose your starting center, and you were without your first-round pick, Matthew Golden, who, let's be honest, guys, that was the game for him to shine on Monday night. It's really, really unfortunate that he wasn't in the lineup, right? So I take all that into consideration when we're trying to judge a coach, right? So you've got 1 year where you've dropped out of the top 10 offensively, right? And that's just scoring. What's crazy is he's still top 10 in most of the important statistical categories. It's just points per play that dropped out of the top 10 because you only put up 3 points against the Eagles, obviously.
Right.
But I think Drew D makes a great point. For so long, that's what it was, right? It was the defense that was the problem. 2-0 for this says, I agree with an Eisen take. Someone check the temperature of hell. So obviously the temperature dropping down there. I'm not a huge Rich Eisen fan either, but I thought that was cool coming across the wire there. Paging Dr. Crutch says, outside the organization, the hiring pool is rough in all caps. I'm frustrated, but definitely not in fire Matt LaFleur mode. I'm frustrated too, man. I am, But what's crazy is when we watch the tape, I don't come away going, this damn Matt LaFleur. I come away going, boys. You had an open receiver. Catch the football. Do we not know how to line up? What is going on right now? How do you not know how to line up? How do you make sure a player's, not covered up? Just little things like that kind of get me frustrated. So again,
yeah, I mean, 13-3, 13-3, 13-4, 8-9, 9-8, 11-6.
Right.
Were we calling for
during the
his
transition, right?
Were we calling for his job in 22 when he had a losing record? No, but
Right.
we're calling for it now when we have a winning record. He's got to go, man. We're winning too many games. Get him out of here, Clay.
And you know why they weren't calling for him in 2022? Because they were calling for Aaron Rodgers. People were so tired of Aaron Rodgers. Get him out of here, right? That was the big kind of skate. I love the people that refuse to mention the fact that Aaron Rodgers had a broken thumb on his throwing hand that year, and you've seen his numbers dip significantly, right? And then you make that transition to Jordan Love. I thought Matt LaFleur handled that so well, right? I mean, hell, they missed the playoffs, Aaron's last year, and then he went to the playoffs both years with Jordan Love at the helm. Yep. And we're tracking the playoffs right now. If everything finishes the way I think it will, I think we're going to be somewhere around 11 wins, which is funny. That's where we started at in the offseason when we predicted it. It was 11 to 13 wins. You could go on a run. If you win out, you get 13 wins. I've got them, okay, if they lose 2 games in this stretch, you still win 11, you're in the playoffs. It'll be really, really, really strange if 11 wins doesn't get you in the playoffs. And you know what? If it don't, so be it. You did the best you could in that scenario. And you move on to next year, right?
I think it will, though, with that tie, Clay. Everyone was mad about the tie during the time. You get 11 wins and have a tie. We're cooking with Crisco over here. I mean,
going to come back to help you, right? For sure. J. Cole said, I heard people saying Mike McDaniels. Man, how things have changed so fast. He was the butt of the league a couple weeks ago, and now
I want to pat you on the butt and you poop my hand. So
nice drop there, man. Tim will be proud. Corey Murphy says, I'm team keep LaFleur. What about making Hafley assistant head coach? There's no positive in that, Corey. If you make him assistant head coach, then he can still be hired as a head coach.
Right.
It's not going to block that. And you don't have to worry about laterally. So it's going to take someone. I never got an answer on whether or not that's a improvement or not. Like if someone wanted to hire Hafley as DC just to make him assistant head coach, I think that's still considered a lateral move is what I came up with. But I would like an exact answer on that if we could find it. But yeah, so if somebody offers him a head coaching job, now he can choose to decline that head coaching job, right?
Which I would love.
And Johnson did for a couple of years.
I would absolutely love that. Because maybe he wants to hone it down. Maybe he wants to sit there and sharpen the blade a little bit, make sure that he knows everything because he said it in his presser this week. He knows what it's like to be on both sides of it, being a head coach, being just a coordinator, and knowing where the players are coming from in both aspects. You need to hold the team together as a DC, as an OC, as the head coach.
Yeah, definitely. Then you got J. Cole says, I don't want McDaniels in Green Bay. I think the majority of the people would be looking at it that way as well. Brooke in the house. Good to see you, Brooke. I don't think this season is like last season where there were so many winning teams. People were livid that a losing record division winner made it to the playoffs. I think our odds are good. I agree with that too. When you kind of lay out the rest of the schedule, you lay out the rest of the league schedule because you can look at it worst case scenario and kind of worst case scenario for the rest of the league and you still win 11 games, you're in. But we're not even kind of looking at it like because there's going to be teams that lose games they should win. Like the Lions injury report just came out. They're without Sam Laporta, a couple other players. They got to play the Eagles on Monday night. Now, the Lions are playing damn good football right now. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go into Philly and win that game. However, if Philly pulls that one off, Minnesota beats Chicago, we beat New York, we're back in first place. Right. So it just changes that quick.
And Dan Campbell just took over play calls for the Lion too. He just took over play calling duties.
Did a great job. What's crazy about that, Emilio? I seen that and I'm like, man, I haven't been keeping up with the Lions offense. How bad did they get? You know where they're ranked in points per play?
2.
Take a guess. What'd you say?
2.
They're third. So they're third in points per play and they pulled the play calling.
Yeah.
One thing you got to say about Dan Campbell, he demands excellence. That was wild to me. I was expecting it to be like 10th or 12th or something in that range.
DJ and Buck were talking about it, or Buck and Rhett were talking about it, saying what he wanted to do was like show the team or show their offensive coordinator, the dude that took over this year, what he wants his team to be or what his vision of this team to be is. And the only difference between that and Matt doing it is just they were executing it better than we did this past week. We beat ourselves. We could have won that game. We beat ourselves in our other 2 losses as well. So We've 3 losses by 9 points where we beat ourselves each time.
Yeah,
that's our season. That's why you're mad at LaFleur. You could fit it into one sentence.
Right. Yeah, exactly. That's what Creed's saying here, too. What's crazy is we've lost games by field goals. I'd understand if LaFleur lost the locker room and we're losing games by 20 points each week, but field goals, these people are detached. I agree, and I think that stuff matters. And listen, Matt LaFleur will get to the podium and say there's no moral victories. And that's what you want your leader to say, right? But in the background, it's like, guys, we're in every one of these ball games, and you're missing key pieces. As someone said here, if I can find it, here we go. 2-0 for this said, if any team lost their tight end 1, wide receiver 2 through 4, starting center with your wide receiver 1 coming off of injuries, they wouldn't look great. I don't care who your quarterback is. If you're throwing to a transition backup cornerback as your wide receiver 2, it's so true, man. So well put.
Yep.
United Bates with the facts for us. In the last 6 seasons since Matt LaFleur took the reins, only 6 head coaches have been to the Super Bowl. Reed, Sirianni, Shanahan, McVay, Taylor, and Arians. So there you go. Only 6. And by the way, one of those, and Bruce Arians, was the clip we played earlier where he was over the moon about Matt LaFleur. Hey, look, he got young guys dropping the ball. There's a lot of factors that come in. He's a great play caller,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. So that's a really cool stat there. So, again, those are the 6 that if you hold everyone to the same standard, unless you can go sign Andy Reid, Sirianni, Shanahan, McVay, Taylor, or Arians, good luck. And here's the thing. Taylor's on the hot seat, right? Because that's Cincy's coach. Am I thinking right? He's the one who made it to the Super Bowl. What's his name? Zach Taylor, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So he's on the hot seat somewhat right now, too.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's wild to think about.
And Reid has been there, 2 or 3 times. Sirianni's been there 2 or 3 times. And you have repeat literally 6 head coaches. That's 2 coaches on each side. Remember that. That's not just the NFC.
No, definitely. All right. So there you go, guys. I'd love to keep hitting the comments, but we got to move on to the next segment. If you guys would, if you're watching this back later, let us know in the comments what you think about the whole Matt LaFleur situation. What do you think about what Rich Eisen had to say about the Green Bay Packers? We want to hear from y'all in the comments. Make sure you hit subscribe, click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. Let's just take a quick second and talk about Jordan Love. Emilio, I seen this tweet come out earlier, and this was really interesting to me. I love looking at these stats because, we were very vocal. I shouldn't say we. Maybe you guys disagree. I was very vocal in our post-game show. I was very vocal in Chalk Talk that Jordan didn't have his best game. Matt LaFleur is getting raked over the coals, and when I turn on the tape, I'm seeing Jordan Love not seeing open receivers, maybe getting off a look a little too quick.
Yep.
Crucial fumble when he should have protected the football on second down there under 40 seconds left in the second quarter, i.e. the middle 8. Those are the type of things I see. So when you back up and go, okay, that was a bad game. Let's take a look at everything globally. How does he still rank? This came out from Ober Sports on X. Jordan Love is number 2 in EPA. He's number 2 in fourth quarter comebacks. Number 7 in CPOE, completion percentage over expected. Number 7 in QBR. Number 7 in yards attempt. Number 8 in passing yards. Number 8 in passer rating. Number 9 in completion percentage. He's got a 4.33 touchdown to interception ratio, okay? So it's basically 4.33 to 1 is his touchdown to interception ratio. And I'm supposed to think Jordan Love is not a top 10 quarterback because he had one underwhelming game.
Built to ass. BTA.
And then, of course, he quote tweeted this composite quarterback rankings, right? And you guys could kind of see it looks like they do a grade out of 0 to 100 and kind of ranks everybody. You got total QBR, EPA per play, CPOE, all the stuff that here's a bad throw percentage, PRS to sack percentage, air yards to receivers, average score, blah, blah, blah. According to this graphic, Sam Darnold is 1, Dak Prescott 2, Matthew Stafford 3, and then you got Jordan Love in the number 4 spot, just ahead Drake May and former MVP Lamar Jackson, as well as Daniel Jones and Jared Goff, who are tied for 7th. So this graphic has Jordan Love as a legit top 5 quarterback. Shout out to Cody McDougal becoming a member here on YouTube. Appreciate you, Cody. I know you've been around for a long time. Just kind of do a little dono our way. We appreciate that. What do you think about that, man? Jordan Love, where would you rank him? I'm going to be honest. The way he's playing right now, I don't see him as a top 5 quarterback. When I see these numbers, though, it makes me feel really damn good when I do consider him a top 10 quarterback because I feel like I might be underselling him a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And think that he's a top 10. I think that we've been fighting for him to get that recognition for a while now. He finally has. CJ Stroud took it for a year, and then, he had the injuries and all that. But I think, the way he's been playing, hasn't been perfect, but he's still getting the ball out. He's spinning it around. You got a bunch of different targets you're getting it to. You've gone through injuries. The O-line's been shuffled around. But what's key is that he's been in the system for so long. He knows what Matt's offense is. If they need to add something, they need to adjust something. I feel like that can happen on the fly, no problem. We can get that done. I really still think it's because of all the different shifts in the different line combinations, all this. Our blockings might be a little bit messed up. Our snap count's off. Silent count we still need to work on. Not lining up. And Jordan's got to still worry about it. I mean, I've seen him 3 times this year just adjust wicks or just a receiver, get him over to the right side. He's got to worry about that, double check, make sure all this is all squared away in 25 seconds after calling out a play. There's a lot going on. I think that he's been able to process it and hammer it down no problem. It's just we need to get better at executing it so that he can become that top 5 guy, all the time.
Yeah. So again, when you look at this chart, the bad throw percentage is the only thing in the orange, right? And I agree with that. There's times he'll make a bad decision. It's like, oh boy, Jordan, what are we doing there, right? But like someone says in the chat here, Sixers says Favre 2.0, right? And then Joe Pack Joe goes on to say, I want a gunslinger. I don't care about picks if it gets us dubs from explosive plays. It is damn fun.
Well, isn't the bad throw Stafford? At 17, Jordan Love, the only thing is just the air yards.
Oh, yeah, my bad. You're right. Yeah, so it was actually air yards per reception, I guess. Is that right?
Yeah, it looks like that's the only thing in the low. What's that? 20 spot. That's his lowest spot would be 20 air yards per reception.
Good catch, Amelia. I'm sorry. Yeah, that would. Yeah, so that's his bad throw percentage is 13.6, which is still looks like it's probably somewhere in the middle, right?
Because everything else, his total QBR is 7th, his EPA is 2nd, CPOE 7th, 8th, and then 20th. Yeah, I mean, dude's playing well and out of his mind. And what's he able to do this year that he wasn't last year? Move his legs.
Mm-hmm.
It's been key for him this year.
Yeah, no, you could tell a big difference now that he's fully healthy and being able to navigate the pocket for sure. So, let's see here. 2-0 for this says people on Twitter who watch tape must only ever watch the very few negative Jordan plays when looking at only the positive plays of other quarterbacks. There's a little bias there too. Right, 2-0 over this. Like you could tell and I won't name names, but the national media that you could tell they like to hate on the Packers. They will pick and choose. However, it was crazy hearing Richard Sherman defend Matt LaFleur earlier today. That surprised the hell out of me because he's usually pretty down on the Packers, but he was just like essentially saying there's a ton of teams that would be lined up, to obviously to replace their head coach with Matt LaFleur. So, and again, that's the thing about Jordan Love is like. You can't think Jordan Love is a top 10 or maybe even a top 5 quarterback. I think he's top 5 when he's at his best. I think on average he's top 10. You can't think that and not give some credit to Matt LaFleur who molded him into the quarterback he is. And I know there's a portion of the fan base that think, no, it was all Aaron Rodgers. It was definitely both. People forget Aaron Rodgers was struggling when Matt LaFleur was hired. Aaron wins back-to-back MVPs, right? So another
One
thing.
hand washes the other. They both wash the face, Clay. Classic.
A wise man wants to tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Grandpa.
There you go. Rest in peace, Grandpa.
Absolutely.
Still learning from the old man.
See?
Cody McDougal, buddy, you are way, way too generous. Thank you so much for that dono, man. That's awesome. He drops a 50 spot in here. Thank you, buddy.
Here's the guy.
I wish you had a super chat so I could read it for you, but we appreciate that, man.
Yeah, say something. I'll keep an eye on it, Cody.
Yeah, for sure. Do that, man. Thank you so much, Cody. Mike Hebring with the super chat. Caleb's higher than I'm comfortable with. Let's see where Caleb is right here. Caleb Williams, right? That's who he's talking about. 17th. The one thing I'll say about Caleb.
He's got a lot of red.
He does have a lot of red. What's the one green there? So that's what is that, evading sacks essentially?
Pressure to sack percentage. Yeah, I think dude has speed in the backfield. He is a backfield creator archetype, Clay.
Bro, I looked it up one day and I think he was leading all quarterbacks in ball carrier run, ball carrier speed, where he broke 20 miles per hour. He could scoop. And what that tells me is if he were to run the 40, obviously he didn't, definitely 4.4, maybe 4.3 speed, to be honest with you. I mean, that's 20 mile an hour. Yeah. But I understand what you're saying too, Mike. The thing about Caleb Williams that I've got to tip my cap is when the game's on the line in the fourth quarter, he can make stuff happen with his legs. Right now, will that win you a championship? Probably not. You got to be able to read a good defense is going to shut that down. Like the Giants, they struggle to contain it and this and that. But yeah. But I understand what you're saying. He is higher than I'm comfortable with too. I want him in the basement, Emilio.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact is, he's sitting in the number 17 spot here right now.
Yeah, no, it's tough. But hey, he's fast. I mean, I'll give him that. He is creative in the backfield. That's why you need to approach him as is. You got to stay in your lane to do all that stuff. But the fact that you got Jared Goff, Caleb, and then you got your boy down there in McCarthy. Let's just hope he turns it up again this time and goes 2-0 against the Bears this year, and I'll be a happy kid this weekend.
Yeah, there you go. So, Mike, thank you for the super chat, buddy. And there Cody comes in and says, I found $50 on a snowbank downtown celebrating. I'll never forget. Always a fan and a supporter. Y'all break down the X's and O's, and I appreciate that about y'all. Thank you so much, Cody.
Thank you, Cody. Appreciate it, man.
You're the man, buddy. All right, so let us know in the comments. You're watching this video back later. Let us know in the comments how you feel about Jordan Love. Do you think he's top 5? Do you think he's top 10? Maybe you think he's not even in the top 20. All comments, all opinions are welcome. We want to hear from you guys and gals. Let us know in there. Also, let us know about Caleb Williams. Do you think 17 is a good spot for him? Do you think he should be higher or lower? Obviously, there's nothing wrong as obviously Mike Hebring said here in the chat. You gotta keep your finger on the pulse. Keep your friends close, your enemies closer, I think is the old saying, right? But let us know in the comments.
Just to add to that, before you add your comment, Jordan Love on PFF was 6th in his passing grade in the NFL right now, just behind Stafford, Darnold, Mariota, Prescott, Drake May, and then Jordan Love. So, I mean, he's there, man.
Look at it, right? You see the good games on tape and you're going, damn, he's playing like an MVP. The bad games, even in the bad games, we're showing you what Jacob Morley refers to as sicko throws of the week, right? Yep. Layering in passes, the touches becoming a little more evident, the accuracy, all that stuff. So PFF says 7th, right?
And that was for his passing grade, and then offensive grade in total, he's 9th.
And that's probably because of the fumbles he's had and maybe bad decisions in regards to that. So, yeah. Everything suggests he's top 10 and in most cases top 5. So really, really interesting. Again, let us know in the comments what you think. Make sure you hit subscribe and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. Let's shift gears here, Emilio. We got time, I think. Let's shift gears and let's talk about.
Get over here! Belt to ass. BTA. Know what I'm saying?
Love it. This Giants game coming up. As we got the injury report officially out, let's see if we can get this thing zoomed in a little bit so my old ass can read it to y'all. Perfect. All right, here we go. So let's just stick with the designations. There's a bunch of these players that are on the injury report that do not have a game status. That means they're good to go. Okay, so the only ones we really need to know about already ruled out is Nate Hobbs. Okay, no surprise there with the MCL. He's not going to play on Sunday. Then you've got 3 that are questionable. Matthew Golden questionable. You've got Lucas Van Ness questionable and Savion Williams questionable. Here's how I would approach this if it were me, Emilio. If LVN is not 100% and that foot's still a little something there, sit his ass down, and then you decide between Matthew Golden and Savion which one's healthier, right? That's how I would approach this. Maybe they'll both be out there. I hope they are for Jordan Love's sake, right? As Cody McDougal says, Pookie. Chris the casual into Pookie is love, 10 VE. So how do you feel about those 4 players? Obviously Hobbs is out. Let's just keep it to the 3. Let's start with LVN. How aggressive would you be with LVN going up against the Giants and Jameis Winston this week, man?
If it doesn't feel right, even 1%, sit him. I think that was kind of the way Micah was talking in his interview. He wants him to be mentally ready to go, and he wants him to be physically 100% and beyond that, because he knows what he can be. He knows that he was saying they got different packages that they're ready to implement when LVN gets back, but we're not going to do that until he's 100%. And I just love that, Parsons really kind of taking him under his wing, or been just his running mate now that he's really kind of, trying to get LVN lifted up. And I remember beginning of this season or the offseason, everybody was ready to ship LVN off and out and get rid of him. And everybody, they didn't want him. They were like, hey, it's a waste of a pick. He took him 13th, hasn't done anything, 3rd season, And we're here now almost relying on him. It seems like we've had a little, he had a dip there and when he went out, and you miss him. But I would say if there's any bit for him, he needs to sit out and one or the other. I think you're probably right. Whoever feels better, or honestly, sit both the wide receivers too. If they're not ready, then fine. We're gonna have to make do with what we got, because it's always the next man up mentality, no matter what.
Yeah. Jen Wright asked a great question. Snap count for LVN if he's healthy. So if he's 100% and he's out there, snap count. Barron Sorrell's been playing pretty good football, right?
Yeah. And
I would like to
Kingsley's
see
been
him.
out there a lot too.
That's true. What do you think? What do you think about 10 snaps just to get him kind of work back into things? Do you think that's too little? If he's 100%, or would you like to see him take all the cheetah package snap? Because that's his bread and butter. And Jeff Hafley did talk in his presser. He said once LVN's back on the field, we can use cheetah package to stop the run too. So it's not just going to be a pass down set. Now, listen, he may have been blowing a little smoke to other teams too, like getting them to think, okay, they're going to play cheetah even in run situations.
Yeah.
But he did say, what he's essentially saying is LVN is stout enough at the point of attack that you could put him in as the cheetah in cheetah pack. And cheetah package, guys, is just 3 pass rushers, 1 defensive tackle, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's essentially saying LVN stout enough to help against the run there. What do you think about the snap count? And we'll see what everybody else says in the chat here too.
Yeah, I was thinking around 10-ish, but even still, dude, it being a foot, you're going to have to be pressing off of that. There's a lot of power that he's going to be driving off of. If it's, the balls of his feet, whatever it is, you get on his heels, he gets pushed back, or you only bringing him in on pass downs. I would say 10 max 15, but again, I don't want any weird feeling in that foot. If it feels wrong on that turf, sit him. There's no point. MetLife isn't, known for the best going on over there, so let's not try to push anything.
Right. Let's see what the chat says here. Reef says 15 to 25. Okay, so it's pretty good, healthy little chunk, right? Yep. Jay Cole says 15, so there we got a common number now. Jen Wright said 10, so somewhere between 10 to 15, it sounds like, or 10 to 25. That nice even number is probably 15 snaps, right? So interesting stuff there. So yeah, that's again, we'll see how it all unfolds. Yeah, Biz says the same thing, 10 to 15. We'll see what they decide to do. 2-0 for this 15 snaps or 1 sack, and see how he's feeling. I like that, man. Yeah, 15 snaps, or if in a second snap he gets a sack, get his ass out of there. Good game.
Good job.
Good to go, man. There you go. Keep that pressure percentage up. I see what you did there, 2-0 for this. You want me to highlight that next week on NFL Pro, don't you? So I like it, man. All right, moving along. Matthew Golden and Savion Williams, same thing. If they're not healthy, don't put them out there, right? But with Matthew Golden, I think that could be a big, big difference maker here against the Giants. The Giants have a decent pass rush. Their run defense is worst in the league. They're 25th in points per play allowed, which is your defensive scoring metric. And then on offense, they're 25th in points per play. So the Packers are currently 17th in points per play, but they're 5th in points per play allowed. This is an opportunity this week to get that points per play ramp back up after that horrible showing there, just scoring 3 points against the Eagles. So Matthew Golden, I think, could play a big role there. When you talk about the other receivers, Emilio, you're obviously Dontavion Wicks is back in the fold. He's going to take some snaps, right? So if Matthew Golden's good to go, sit Savion down. You got a good enough rotation in Wicks and some of these other guys. However, if Matthew Golden isn't good to go, you might want to try to get Savion out there just to get some meaningful reps, if that makes sense.
No, absolutely. And also because of how big of a part Savion plays in special teams. I mean, he's out there for all the kick returns. He's out there on, a lot of those kind of reps as well. So who's going to take those spots? Is Bo going to be running wide receiver as well and playing, punt team and all that? So all those things you need to take into consideration. I would love to have Matthew Golden back. I want him to have a breakout game. He needs to have his first touchdown. All these things need to happen. And I don't want Matt to take his foot off the throttle when we get in there. You go up 10 points in the first, you get another touchdown in the second, third, I want 3 more touchdowns, fourth, I want 2 more. I mean, we need to kind of boost some stats here. That's what I want it to be, one of them college games, Clay. You got to get everybody. You got to get those Heisman numbers up, right? We need one of those games. Just get everybody feeling good and just start putting points on the board.
Listen, buddy, you got to get everybody involved, because after that game, you're going to see that meter pop up and it says risk of transfer playing time. You're hurt.
Absolutely.
Right? Keep everybody happy, man. Jen Wright said, I wonder if that's why Melton is in the wide receiver room this week. Probably they kind of seen, okay, we need to get him back on the jug. We need to get him re-ramped up, right?
Get actual passes from Jordan instead of trying to cover the wide receivers on passes. He can actually cut timing back, but it's huge that he's had 3 previous years of wide receiver work, so he knows the baseline. He knows everything in the offense. You saw him go out there and just run routes, no problem. So I think he's a key player to have. And we're over here. I mean, we got our own Travis Hunter.
Right. Exactly. Six-ish says, oh, that's why Jacobs is projected so high in fantasy. Yeah, because their run defense is really, really bad. Now, keep in mind that Caleb Williams got a lot of rushing yards, I'm pretty sure, in that last game. There were several times he scrambled down the sideline that I remember as we were doing our live watch party. So that probably inflated them a little bit. But, yeah, their run defense is dead last. I think it was either 5.5 or 6.5 yards per carry they're averaging, giving up. It's been abysmal. I remember those days in Green Bay when our run defense was that bad. So,
but if we can get off the ball, you know how much of a mental boost that'll be for our O-line. Get them going downhill, opening up some holes. I think just having that tape to go off of, this is what we can build from.
Yeah, just a little momentum, man.
Yes.
For sure. Cody McDougal goes back to Van Ness. Says Van Ness has to be coming back soon, or do you think that's that's a sneaky move, having him fresh late to take the load off of Gary? That's really interesting there. They've been very vocal, Cody, that the foot injury was worse than it's like it's healed slower than they expected. Right. So I would chalk it up to that, although obviously I'm not in the building. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's more about how that injury has just struggled to heal, if that makes sense.
I do think we keep him fresh, though, with that rotation. I think that's part of the been key the whole time. You have a long season. You got to keep everybody fresh, because then you can actually run the horses when you get into the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. Let's shift gears over to the Giants side here. Let's talk about the ones that are just game statuses. Let's start with the outs, okay? So Jackson Dart is officially out in concussion protocol. That's his second concussion of the year. And, when I see that, obviously, Jackson Dart been a fun player to watch this year. We did the watch party for the Chicago Giants game, and they ran a lot of QB power the same way that Dayball ran Josh Allen on QB power when he was the OC in Buffalo, right? So when you take that into consideration, are they going to be running QB power with Jameis Winston? Probably not. Now, you can look at that and go, thank God we don't have to worry about that. As Lee Corso would say, not so fast, my friend. That's what we're calling an unscouted look now, right? Every time they ran QB power, you got to ask yourself now, when you're watching the tape, the 4-game saturation, last 2 head-to-heads, what are they going to do in place of that? You're kind of in the dark a little bit. So that's what we call an unscouted look. You got to be aware of that, right? But nonetheless, Jackson Dart will not be playing. Chauncey Golston, linebacker, he is out. And you got Evan Neal, the offensive lineman with the hammy. He's out. You've also got Darius Slayton, wide receiver, is out. That's a hammy too. Kayvon Thibodeau with the shoulder is out. One of their pass rushers, right? A young pass rusher, was, I think, a top 5, top 10 pick. Whether he's lived up to it, I'm not 100% sure. We'll get into some of the preview here in a second if we have time. And then questionable, you've got Bobby Okereke, if I'm saying that right. Mm-hmm. And then you've got Paulson Adebo, DB. He's questionable. And then doubtful, you've got Tyler Nubin and Raheem Nunez-Roches as doubtful. So they are pretty darn banged up, Emilio. I think it's sitting at a 7-point spread right now, but Packers should be able to go out there and take care of business. I know any given Sunday, but I feel as good about this game as any game we've played before this year.
No, nothing else you can say about the game, really, honestly. I think the Packers know it. We know it. Everybody knows it. Media knows it. The people that don't like the Packers, who are Packers fans, know it. The people who like the Packers and aren't Packers fans know it. We got to win this game. It's just got to happen. So you just got to show up, go out there and play.
Yeah. So let's take a look at the PFF preview real quick, and we'll kind of give you guys the early line information, all that good stuff. I like doing this every week. Hopefully you guys enjoy it. It just gives you kind of a first look, global perspective on how these teams kind of match up. And I like to focus on the money, obviously. There's a lot that goes into that. Let's see if we can get this to where it's maybe zoomed in. Nah, it ain't going to work. I apologize. That's about the best I can do right there, Emilio. So the Packers are currently 7-point favorites. The PFF projection has it a little bit closer at 6.9 points. The money, 72% of the money and covering the spread is on the Packers, okay? And 64% of the bets or the slips are on the Packers to cover the spread. Money line, 92% of the money is on the Packers, 92% of the slips are on the Packers. So
you don't love that.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
Man. And listen, it doesn't mean the Packers are going to lose. I'm just saying anytime it's that far to one side, it tends to be a little closer than we expect. As Jen Wright goes, ugh, right?
Yeah.
Again, though, man, forget the numbers. You got to go out there and take care of business. You got to take care of business. When you look at the rankings, power ranking overall, the Packers are 5th according to PFF. The Giants are 28th. On defense, the Packers are 10th. Giants are 29th. Offense, the Packers are 6th. The Giants are 23rd. Strength of schedule played. They played the 20th toughest schedule the Packers have. The Giants have played the 2nd toughest schedule. Now, that's constantly evolving as you go through the year, obviously, right? So that would explain why their record's down. Maybe they're a little bit better team than the record indicates. You got to be aware of
Eagles
that.
twice already.
Yeah, there you go, right? That's a perfect example of why it's a boost. And Chicago, they played Chicago, and here Chicago has actually got a really good record this year. Some people may not think Chicago is a good football team. Yeah, I don't know.
They played Washington already, too, and think they won. So, yeah, they've had a tough schedule.
Yeah. Average offensive snaps, they're averaging 70 snaps a game. The Packers 65. Percentage of run, we're at 41%. They're actually throwing the ball 61% of the time, 61.5. So they're throwing the ball quite a bit more than we are. EPA per run, we're slightly better than them at EPA per run at minus 0.05. They're at minus 0.06. EPA per pass, however, we're at a positive 0.19. They're at a positive 0.04. Keep in mind, that was Jackson Dart. Little bit of Russell Wilson, and now it's going to be Jameis Winston. So maybe that number will go up, maybe it'll go down. When you look at the QB comparison, they don't even have a grade for Winston this year. Love is sitting at a 79.4. Passer rating when clean, 126, 45.9 with pressure on him. Big time throw percentage of 4.42%. Turnover worthy play, 2.9%, and a power rating of 4.5. Putting his power rating ranked 7th. It looks like Jameis Winston's power rating rank is sitting at 29 for what it's worth.
Hey, I mean, we just got to, like we said, we got to go out there and just make it happen this game. And maybe you lean on the run a little bit more. Maybe we get those numbers up, get that percentage going. I'd love to get Emmanuel going. I want Josh to get going, and he will. But let's try to get a little two-headed monster, get the ball moving north and south. And then, you can start stretching it out, get Jordan to turn his back once in a while, throw some play action. Matt needs to kind of go through the playbook this week and kind of hammer out what he feels comfortable with on this team. I want him to kind of work the whole thing. Under center, pistol, whatever you want to do, shotgun. Just get a few groups that you really like, and let's start building off of that if you need to kind of adjust that offense. But right now, being 5th and then 28th overall, with everything that they've had going on, injuries-wise, all the stuff, coaching change, and there's just so much going on for them. We really can't we can't beat ourselves this one.
Yeah, completely agree, man. We've already kind of hit the injuries. If we look at their schedule real quick here, this is who they played, right? They lost to the Commanders on the road. So the result is in the middle column. I always screw this up. Yeah. They lost to the Commanders on the road. They lost to the Cowboys on the road. They lost to the Chiefs on the road. They beat the Chargers at home. They lost to the Chiefs at home.
Yeah.
They beat the Chargers at home. That's a really strange win right there. That's actually kind of impressive. Chargers been playing pretty good football. On the road, they lost to the Saints. That's a horrible loss there. They beat the Eagles 34-17 at home. Let's hope we don't get those Giants, Emilio, right?
No, absolutely.
Yeah. And then you got on the road, they lost the last 4 on the road, Denver 33-32. That was a close ball game against a good football team, right? They lost to the Eagles on the road 38-20. So we played the Eagles much closer in that game than they did. San Francisco, they lost to at home 34-24. And of course, they lost to the Bears on the road in that snowy Soldier Field 24-20. So going to be interesting. Again, we're 7-point favorites. They got the Lions next week. That should be a slam dunk win for the Lions if they continue to play at the level they're playing. So, so I think that is a pretty tough schedule, Emilio. I really do.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a pretty rough. I forgot they played the Broncos. They're doing great. Chargers are doing good. Chiefs are, above 500, and then you still have the Lions. Us.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're good. They've got a battle going up. They got to go up against Drake May and the Patriots.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So we look at the Packers schedule here, right? Starting in week 1, you beat the Lions at home. You beat the Commanders at home, right? Mm-hmm. Then you lost on the road to the Browns, 13-10. You tied the Cowboys. Then you beat the Bengals 27-18, right? You beat the Cardinals on the road 27-23. You beat the Steelers on the road 35-25. And then, of course, you lost to the Panthers 16-13. You lost to the Eagles 10-7. Again, those are those 3 losses. They combined at 9 points. It's just absolutely wild, man. Absolutely wild. So now you're on the road against the Giants. Then you're back home against the Vikings. That's going to be a fun game right there. On the road against the Lions.
Short week after that Vikings game, too. 4 days.
Thanksgiving, too. Lord have mercy. Going into Detroit. They did not do us any favors with that. Chicago back at home on December 7th. On the road, probably cold weather game there against the Denver Broncos on the 14th.
Good team.
Yep, damn good team. On the road in Chicago on the 20th. And then you got Baltimore back home on the 27th, and then back on the road to end the season against the Vikings. I love that we're ending the season on the road, Minnesota, against the Vikings. I like my chances there. I actually like our chances against the Vikings better than I do the Bears, to be honest with you.
Yeah. That's like we said before, that is a rough schedule for us to finish out the year. This is where the meat and potatoes come in. I mean, this is that, you write the paper for school, Clay. You get the toppings for the for the top of the burger and the meat.
Mm-hmm.
We are in the thick of it right now.
And again, if we can lose 2 games here, right? If we can afford to lose 2 games, and you correct me if I'm wrong here, I don't want to misspeak. Our record right now is what? 5-3-1. 5-3-1. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more games, right? So if you win out, you got 13 games. If you drop 2 of these games, right, I think you got a good shot at beating the Giants on the road. I think you got a good shot at beating the Vikings at home. Lions game is going to be tough. Short turnaround on Thanksgiving. It's going to suck. It's going to ruin Turkey Day, but it is what it is. If you lose that game, you beat the Bears, you lose on the road to Denver, which, keep in mind, the Giants almost beat Denver, right?
Yeah.
Or did they beat Denver?
No, they lost to them.
Okay, but it was
at one point. That was when Denver came back and scored like 30, right? Or 30.
Denver, correct me if I'm wrong, but Denver's last game, I'm pretty sure they only scored 10 points, just like the Eagles did against us.
Yes, against the Raiders. Remember we were talking about how rough of a Thursday night game it was, and then we roll around to Monday night, same exact game. Yeah.
We turn around, crap in bed too, right? So if I had to pick 2 that I go, those are the 2 you probably afford to lose: on the road against the Lions, on the road in Denver, right? Other than that, then you got to come back and beat the Bears on the road. You got to beat the Ravens at home, and you got to beat the Vikings on the road. I think that's doable.
My picks would have been the Lions and then the Ravens, actually, because I think that we have a shot against Denver. I really do. I think that Lamar and the Ravens playing for their season at the end of the year would be a different story, because they've already got behind the 8 ball when they went 0-5 or whatever it was to start the year.
That's a great point. I wonder, let me just take a quick glance at those. So Baltimore sitting at 4-5. You know what's going to play a huge role in that? How the Ravens do up to that point. If they've got a losing record and they're out of the playoffs,
for sure. Absolutely.
Might be different. But like you said, if they turn it around, they're only a game back behind Pittsburgh right now. So if they're neck and neck with Pittsburgh, you're going to get the best Baltimore Ravens team. There's no doubt about it. And you also start to look at some of these scenarios where a little later in the year, like the Broncos are sitting at 8-2 right now, right? If you get to that game, and let's say that the Broncos by that point are 9-2, 10-2, 11-2, 12-2, and they're a little banged up, maybe they'll be a little conservative with the injury report because, hey, look, we're in a good spot. Maybe
it's an AFC NFC opponent matchup. All right, fine. I'll drop the one to the out of conference guy, because we lost out of conference with the Browns, out of conference in conference with Carolina and the Eagles. So if we could lose some, I would be fine if it was Broncos and Ravens. Right, but I'm hoping for only one loss in this stretch, and it starts this Sunday with the Giants. We got to get a dub.
Yeah, there you go. So again, just taking a quick look at the Giants ahead of time, our schedule, their schedule, just to kind of compare strength of schedule. So we'll dive into the game plan tomorrow. I got to put it together. I hope I have time. You guys, I've been very vocal about this. When you play Monday Night Football, man, I can only imagine what the coaches and players feel like, because I'm scrambling to try to get everything put together for the content that week. The long weeks are absolutely awesome, but it's 2-0 for this says we can win out if we don't lose to ourselves. That's a fact. 2-0 for this. That's a fact. Because those 3, the Lions game is a dub. Clay, let's go, Jay. I need that in my life, man. That turkey going to taste a lot better. By the way, cranberry sauce out of the can, just like the Trailer Park Days. Got to have it out of the can, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, gotta have it. He said, imagine winning the Thanksgiving game. We did it last time in Detroit.
With that turkey leg?
Yeah. That was the John Madden patch. Remember that? They had on the jersey. Rashawn Gary went absolutely off on the line. I think he had 2.5 sacks. Jordan Love cut him up. Let's go, man. Let's go. Let's get it done. So that would be an awesome, awesome Thanksgiving for sure. So with that being said, if you guys are watching this video back later, let us know in the comments what you think about how we match up against the Giants. Obviously, any game can be a trap game. I don't think they're going to sneak up on the Packers. I don't think it's going to be something, oh, we overlooked them. We're just not playing our best ball right now. And you, like Emilio said, you got to go out there and you got to put it together, man. Take advantage of this defense's beat down a little bit. Get your offense back on track. Let the defense do what they do. Jeff Hafley's going back to Jersey. That's where he's from. I think he said he's got 30 tickets for family members up there. Yeah. So he's going to have every reason to want his defense to dominate. Just got to go in there and get that dub, man. So let us know in the comments what you think, and make sure you hit subscribe and click that bell icon so you're notified when we go live here in the future. Amelia, you got anything else you want to hit before we wrap up, bub?
No, I don't think so. I'm kind of excited to get into a little bit more of the numbers with the Giants there, but it's at this point we can look at all the numbers. Everybody knows what needs to happen. We're coming off a two-game losing streak. The previous Super Bowl Packers have done this, lose 2 games in a row. And you got to come back and make a statement. Then you make a statement, it shuts everybody up. All the talk stops. All this noise in the background. That's why that's why I wouldn't even want to have any kind of social media if you're playing out there right now. I'm just trying to go out there, do my job, and make a paycheck. Did you hear Micah in his presser? He said, who was it? The guy that he was going back and forth. That he goes, anybody that wants to come out here and try my job. You can take my salary. Go out there and do it, man. Go ahead and see how well it is. There's so much more than just running out there and tackling somebody or running out there and getting a sack. So
I love what Hafley said there too, man, because you may have said it right there while I was reading the comments, but he was just like, if anybody thinks Micah Parsons doesn't play the run good, I'd love to sit down and watch film with you. I love that response. Yeah, you've lost your.
That's Hafley's response, and Micah's response was, "Hey, if you think you can do it better, go ahead and take my paycheck, take my helmet, take my cleats, go out there and show me you can do it better than me." Like that, because you can't, or else you would have been there. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but I just love that. I love that kind of attitude. Like, all right, come on, do it. I love it when people speak out of turn and they put a little extra value on themselves. I love going, okay, go ahead, hero, show me. Yeah. I'll just sit right here and watch. Let's see.
You know what they're going to say, Clay?
I'm not going to, so quit asking.
Exactly right. Oh, we got breaking news, Emilio. Can you hit it for me? Give me Corey in the breaking news, sir, please.
Oh, hold on. Let me get the breaking news.
Receiver by 10 yards.
There you go, Corey. Shout out.
Receiver by 10 yards.
I love it. It's a little hybrid. United Bates with the breaking news. Breaking news. YouTube TV and Disney have reached a deal. Hallelujah.
Receiver by 10 yards.
Everybody can now cancel their 24-hour sling service for tomorrow. College football's back on, baby. I love it. So, thank you, Bates. Thank you for that info, sir. Absolutely awesome. Now, I know people are still – and listen, if you're still pissed at ESPN, if you're one of those people harboring that ill will, I completely understand because that was some crap that happened just now in the middle of college football. Exactly. They got hold of the wrong TV service. All right, we're out of here, guys. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Definitely 6 p.m. Central for PTA Live. We will get the game plan together for you guys and gals. I'm going to try to throw a little tape together too. I'll tweet some videos out of the Giants tape, maybe a little bit of Packers tape too. We may sneak in a little bit of that on X as well. So everybody have a wonderful fan right here. And again, thanks to everybody who's reached out the last few days, obviously with the sickness and everything, man. You guys are awesome. It's a really cool community we've created here. And shout out to Larry for the super chat. Thank you, buddy. Cody McDougal becoming a member here. Cody McDougal with the huge dono. Thank you so much, Cody. We don't take that lightly. And Mike Evering with the super chat as well. Thank you so much, super fan. We appreciate you, buddy. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Everybody have a wonderful evening. Wave to them like that creeper, Jacob. All right, bye.
There we go.
Bye, guys.